Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. I hope you're doing well. Today I am here to kick off the three-part series in which we are going to be sewing my large custom padded camera bag. This particular bag will hold 1 or 2 DSLR cameras. If you have one camera, it can have the 50 or 55 millimeter lens attached, and then there's room for either that second camera with lens attached or a larger lens, say like a 300. And so it really is a great bag to replace that standard black bag that comes with the cameras when you buy them. And I will create a step-by-step PDF tutorial for this series, which you can purchase. I'll put the link down in the notes below. If you purchase the PDF, you're also going to get the pattern measurements for my medium camera bag, which is perfect for the DSLR with the lens attached, as well as my compact camera bag, which is sized to hold the DSLR with the smaller lens only, whereas the medium and the large can accommodate the 300 millimeter lens. If you are not a camera owner, none of that probably made sense to you. But if you know anyone who's into photography, they will love, love, love this bag as a gift. I promise. So as mentioned, we're going to craft it over the next 3 weeks. Today I'm going to show you how to cut out the pattern pieces for the large bag. Next week I'll show you how to craft the interior, which uses a product called New Foam, and I like to work with the 1 inch thick cuts of New Foam. You can get that cut off of the bolt at Joann's. You can also order these pads on Amazon, and they come in a 6-pack. And then you will need, in addition to those supplies, 2 O-rings, 1 tri-glide buckle adjuster, and 2 swivel hooks for the adjustable strap, as well as some hook and loop tape. If you can get the hook and loop tape to match your fabric, that's awesome. And then you're going to need a 15-inch cut of 1/4 inch elastic for the pockets. And other than that, I think it'd be good to go in the way of materials, but all the pattern measurements and material requirements will be included in the PDF, okay? So today I'm going to lower you down, start from scratch, and show you exactly how I position the material, cut the material, attach the interfacing, and prep this bag. And then next week we'll start sewing, all right? Okay, so I am going to work with 3 stunning prints here. These gorgeous prints are produced by Art Gallery Fabrics, and they are just so pretty. I think I'll use this floral stripe for the exterior. I'm going to put the blue on the inside, and I'm going to use the pink, and there's a pinch of green in there as my accent. I really like combining the stripes and the florals and the small geometrics when I am building bags from quilting cotton. And so this is going to make an absolutely gorgeous bag, which I'm going to keep for myself to hold my new camera, which I got last year for Mother's Day, and I'm just now making a bag for it. I like to cut out all of my pattern pieces just using a ruler and a rotary cutter. For this particular pattern, because it is my original design, I have it memorized. I've made hundreds of these, and so everything's inside my head. So once I get it out of my head and on the paper, then that'll be useful for you, I hope. So I'm just going to be cutting from memory, and what I want to do is fold this fabric here so that I can begin to cut the exterior pieces. So I'm going to have to move that selvage to the top. And what I want to do is cut out 2 front and rear panels, which are 8 inches tall by 14 inches long. And so I always true up one edge there so that I know I'm working with a really nice, clean, straight cut. And then I'm just going to bump up 8 inches. And so for this project, I just have that one full 8-inch cut right now. And then, as mentioned, this front and rear panels for this bag are 14 inches across by 8 inches tall. So I'm going to do the same thing, just true up that right hand edge and then bump that over and get my 2 14-inch cuts. And so I have both of those right there, front and rear panels, and that little bit that's left here I'll use either for the flap or for the little side tabs. So I'm going to set that aside for a second, and then now I want to cut a second 8-inch cut of fabric. So I know I have a nice straight edge, so I don't have to do anything with that. I'm just going to line that up on the mat there, and then I will bump over 8 inches, get that second cut, and I want to cut off that selvage again. I'm going to bump that up so you all can see better. Okay, so now I need a second cut, which is 8 by 8. So I'm just going to bump over 8 inches, and I have 2 of those, and these become the side panels for the exterior. And then I'm going to open up what's left of that 8-inch cut, and I'm going to grab myself another 14-inch by 8-inch panel, and that's going to become the base of this camera bag. And so now I have my front, my rear, my base, and my sides. And I want to bring back over that little bit of scrap that was left there, and I'm going to cut 2 5-inch cuts, and these will become the side tabs, which I will attach the O-rings to and eventually the straps. So they're 5 by 8, and there are 2 of those. Gonna hang on to that little remnant again, and now I want to craft my pockets, which these pockets for this particular bag are cut 6 inches high, and I am going to work in the accent print for that. So I just need 1 6-inch cut here, and then one of the pockets is just a slip pocket. So I'm going to unfold that fabric so I don't waste anything, and I want to cut a 14-inch cut here, and that will be my slip pockets. And I will cut another one of these from my accent. But before I do that, I also want to cut out a 21-inch by 6-inch piece, and that is going to become my elasticized pockets. So I have that there, and now I just need to get my coordinating accent for the lining for those pockets. And so I'm going to fold that yard in half and put that selvage at the top. And then first I will go ahead and true up that edge. And then I want to make a 6-inch cut off of this. And then I'll open that up, and again I'll cut the 14-inch piece. And the 21-inch piece. And then I'm going to set that little scrap aside there. And so now I need to cut the flap for the exterior. And so you do see this, and so I want to, if at all possible, showcase one of these bouquets right in the middle of that flap. And so this flap is also 8 inches tall. And so I'm going to go ahead and get my 8-inch cut. And then I only need that flap to be 12 inches wide. And so I'm going to try to position this bouquet right at center and then get a 12-inch cut off of that. And it didn't work out perfect, but it's pretty close, and I can certainly see a lot of the bouquet. So I'm going to need a second one of those 8 by 12-inch pieces, which I'm going to cut from the blue fabric because that's going to be on the inside of my bag. And after I get these all cut out, I will go over the pattern pieces one more time with you. So I'm just truing up that edge first. And then my first cut is 8 inches. And I just need an 8 by 12. Will go with that floral bouquet there. And now I can start working on cutting the interior. So for the interior, I'm also going to need 3 of those 8 by 14-inch strips for the front, the back, and the base. So I can get 1 out of that and 2 out of that. I really try not to waste materials. So far I have 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut another 8-inch strip off of this. And from that I'll be able to get my third 14-inch piece and my 2 8-inch sides. Okay, so this will become my base, and now I need 2 of those 8 by 8s for the sides. And then now I need to cut out my interior dividers, and those are crafted from 6-inch by 14-inch. It's actually 28 inches, but I cut on the fold. It'll make more sense to you in just a second. So my first cut is 6 inches, And I know I'm going to need 2 of those, so I'm just going to go ahead and bump over 6 more inches and get those right now. And then I position the fold off to the right, and I'm going to cut those 14 inches long. So really, if I open them up, they are 28 inches long. And I can cut those both at the same time, and this is what they look like. And these are going to become the interior padded dividers. So I have 2 of those. And then the last thing that I need to cut out is my strap. I have a lot of this pink left here, but not very much of the stripe left. So I think what I may do is kind of a patchwork strap. In the end, you want the strap to be 6 inches wide by 44 inches long. And I would use this longer cut of fabric, except I really want that stripe to be running vertically on the strap. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off a 6 by 8 inch piece here. And I may take a couple of those, 2, 4, 6. But again, if you have a interior accent fabric that you want to be your strap, you could just make one full 6-inch cut and get the strap. And I think I will then cut off some of this blue. And again, that will just be 6 inches wide. And I'm going to get rid of that selvage. And this piece here is 6 by 21 inches. So I will probably cut that in half. And I'm going to add that to my stripes there. And then I'm going to incorporate some of this pink into that strap as well. So I think I will just cut off a 6-inch strip of that. And then same thing, I'll just cut that in half right on the fold. And this should actually net me a strap that's a little bit longer than 6 by 44, which is fine because then I can wear the bag crossbody. Okay, so this will be my little strap bundle here, and I'll keep that all together. And then I have my pieces all cut out. So I do have some excess material here. I have probably 3/4 of a yard of the pink left, and not much at all of the blue or the exterior. So if you were going to craft some accessories or something, I used to make camera strap covers to go with mine. You would have a little extra there to work with. So I'm just going to hang on to these, and you'll probably see them in another project. And now what I want to do is cut out the interfacing for the exterior. So the only thing that's going to be interfaced with the fusible fleece on the exterior is going to be the front, the base, the sides, and the rear, and the flap panels. And so for all of those, I'm going to need the 8-inch tall cuts. And so I'm just going to go ahead and cut 2 of those 8-inch rows so that I can get this into a more manageable size. And so first I will get that edge nice and clean. And again, I have the 2 layers of fleece. Whenever possible, I cut 2 at a time. It just makes it go so much faster. And so now I need 1 14-inch piece, or actually I need 3 14-inch pieces. So I have 2 here, and I can squeak out another one there. So I have the front, the rear, and the base, and now I need 2 side pieces, which are the 8x8. And I have those there. And then I need my flap, which is 8x12. There. And I do need interfacing for the strap. For the strap, I just use a 3-inch wide, and the fusible fleece is really nice for the straps as well. And so I'm just going to run off a 3-inch full cut, and I may end up having to trim that down, but I won't trim that until I join those strap pieces and I know exactly how long my strap ends up being. Okay, so I have my interfacing cut, my fabric cut. Now I want to cut my new foam. And so I just work with 1 sheet at a time. And so I usually cut that into a 12-inch segment there, and then I cut that 12-inch segment right in half to create 2 12 by 5-inch pieces of foam. And sometimes you can cut it with a rotary cutter. In this case it was wiggling around too much, so I'm just going to use the scissors. And so these will be the front and rear of the interior, and again those are 5x12. And then I am going to need another piece for the base. So I'm going to cut that down to 12, and then I'm going to cut that right in half. So now I have my 3 pieces of new foam for the front, the rear, and the base. And now I need 2 pieces for my sides, and so those are going to be 5x5. So I can use that little bit that's left over there. And then you'll end up with little chunks of the new foam. I save that. It is useful for padding, like pockets for phones and things like that, or stuffing pillows. So in total for this project, you're going to need the 3 5x12s and the 2 5x5s for the interior. Then you're going to need 2 5x12s for the dividers. And so again, I'm just going to cut off a 12-inch piece and then cut that right in half. And I think I grabbed the wrong piece because this definitely looks longer than 12 inches. Yeah, it is. It's 14. So I'm going to have to cut off a little chunk there. Okay, so I have 2 more 5 by 12 inch pieces of new foam for the interior dividers, and that is all of the new foam that I will need for this project, and those are all of the pattern pieces for this project. Now what I want to do is iron on that interfacing. Okay, so prep wise, there's nothing else that you need to do with the new foam. That's actually going to be sewn inside of your lining there. It's going to be sewn right into the lining, but I will need to press those interior fabric pieces. And so again, I just want to review those measurements for you. You should have 3 of the 8 by 14 inch cotton panels for the interior, and that's the front, the rear, and the base. And those do not get interfaced, so you can set those aside. Then for the flap, you have a 12 by 8 inch piece, and that will take 1 piece of either quilt batting or the fusible fleece. And I like to interface the exterior piece. Good. And then these 2 6-inch by 28-inch cuts are for the interior dividers, and so those get pressed right sides facing in half. And you have 2 of those. Okay, so now you can set those aside. Then you have 2 of the interior 8 by 8s, and those are also going to have the new foam attached to them, so you do not need to interface or attach anything to those. Just press them nicely. And then you have your 12 by 8 interior for the flap, and that just gets pressed. And then you have your 6-inch by 21-inch accent for the elasticized pocket, and that just gets pressed as well, as does the 6 by 14-inch accent for the pocket. And same is true for the exterior pocket, which by exterior, these are both for the exterior pocket. It's just one is the lining of the exterior pocket and one is the exterior of the exterior elasticized pocket. And so in total you have 4 pocket pieces, 2 of which are 6 by 14 and 2 of which are 6 by 21. And so those just get pressed. Then you have your 2 little 5 by 8s, and these are your strap tabs there for the O-rings. And so you press those in half long ways, bring that edge to meet on the center press line. Press again and then fold that over. And these do not need interfacing either. If you really must use something, make sure it's nice and light so you don't get too much bulk at the side. So in total, you're gonna have 2 little strappies. And then you have your exterior, front, rear, and base panels, which all measure 8 by 14, and all of those will get a piece of that fusible fleece or quilt batting attached to them. Okay, so I have my front, rear, and base exterior panels with the fusible fleece attached. And then I have 2 8 by 8 side panels for the exterior, and both of those get the fusible fleece attached as well. And then I have the 6-inch bits that I cut for my strap, which will end up getting joined together, and then I will press that strap like I normally do and add that interfacing to the inside. But since we're not sewing today, I'm going to save that strap interfacing and pressing for the segment in which we craft that strap. So then you can see really how I piece together the patchwork straps and prep those. Okay, so that's it in regards to cutting out the fabric and prepping the fabric and the materials that you're going to need for this project. I suggest, if you're going to go shopping, that you purchase 3 coordinating 1-yard cuts of quilt weight cotton. You're definitely going to have some extra, but that gives you a little freedom just in case. If you really wanted to cut it right down to the wire, you could get the 2 1-yard cuts and then the 1/4 yard, but that would make me a little nervous for you. So if at all possible, just stick with the 3 1-yard cuts. And then next week we're going to start assembling the interior, and you will get to see how I tackle this new foam to create this really awesome padded, wonderful bag that will keep your camera nice and secure. Okay, so I hope you will join me then. Again, if you're interested in the PDF, I'll put the link down below for you and you can get started right away. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week, okay? So I hope you have an awesome week. Thank you so much for joining me in the sewing studio. And as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. See you soon.